Welcome everybody to Pitch Talk Philippines. We have the Philippine men's national football team squaring off with Guam to kick off our Tri-Nations Friendlies. And we are coming to you from the historic Rizal Memorial Stadium. This is Taro Manzano, and joining me is Diego Cordero. And just like that, Diego, the Philippines, the men's team to be precise, is back in the Rizal Memorial Stadium for the first time since December 2024.
Yeah, it's a great occasion. You know, this is the stadium that this team has called home for so many years, for so many decades. They've played most of their home games here, and they are back for the first time, as you mentioned, since December 2024. The crowd is coming in. They look like they are going to be a big crowd tonight, so I'm very excited to see what the Philippines can do for this evening.
When you actually take a look at the rankings on paper, you could say that the Philippines are the favored team, ranked at the 136 compared to the 201 of Guam. But these two teams are familiar with one another. There's plenty of history. And tandaan nga natin, let's remember, these are international friendlies. That's why Coach Carlos is not just fine-tuning his system, but we obviously know they are introducing new players into the fold.
Yeah, it's a chance for some other young players in particular to show what they're made of, to show what they can do in front of what's sure to be a busy period for the Philippine men's national team. This is their platform for them to show coach and the coaches as well what they're made of, what they can do in bigger games as well against teams that are a bit similarly ranked to the Philippines. This is their starting point, and it's very exciting, especially for the young ones, to see how they impress, especially in a senior level. Because some of these players have played for the youth level or in their club level. Now it's the senior level. So let's see how they step up to the occasion.
And you actually have Daisuke Sato, who's going to captain the squad. He did play in the Philippines Football League. Let's remember, there's also a number of players in that roster. There's Jaime Rosquillo in the starting 11. Kenji Nishoka is on the bench. Let's see, of course, how that will develop. But let's remember, this Guam side, very young, very hungry, very energetic, and they're coming off that third place finish in the 2026 FIFA series in Puerto Rico. So they are going with a young core, but they are very familiar already with one another.
Yeah, we heard from the coach earlier. They went young, they went with a younger core and a core with more promise and more talent than someone that is more senior level. So they've gone younger, and that's also the same for the Philippines. They're both going younger. They're both giving platforms to younger players for them to showcase what they can do. And yeah, it's a big occasion for Guam as well. They're coming off that good 6-0 victory against the American Samoa in that FIFA series. So let's see if they can keep up their good momentum.
It's also a fantastic occasion, of course, because the crowd's definitely coming in. Let's remember, it's a Tri-Nations Friendly series. So the Philippines, Guam, and Myanmar who all get to square off with one another. But with this also, the last time the Philippines actually squared off with Guam, there's a certain Patrick Reichelt who did get to score. And tandaan nga natin, let's remember, that was his maiden goal. Full circle moment for him. He's the assistant manager now. Is that massive locker room presence for this national team?
Yeah, you know, he's there to guide the younger ones. We mentioned it's a younger team. Reichelt is still there. He's going to act along with a couple other individuals as that bridge to the new generation. So you have the likes of Reichelt, Ott. You can even count Tabinas in there. Dato, of course. There's that old generation that will guide the younger generation as they step into a new era for the Philippine men's national team.
With this, actually, there was a changing of guard of sorts back in 2024 with a great number of new blood or new players joining the national team. But some of these players right now in the squad did get to face Guam in that previous meeting or in the other meetings also. Let's remember, the Philippines and Guam, who are called the Matao, by the way, which is their local language or the noblemen. So that is their moniker. These two teams were actually part in the previous, not the previous World Cup qualifying, but already in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. So the Philippines and Guam got to square off with one another. There's actually supposed to be a game here back in 2020 that was canceled due to the pandemic. It was eventually played in a bubble over at Sharjah in the UAE. So here they are now. They get to square off at the stadium. And let's remember, obviously we talk about the Philippines. Let's remember, there's Jason Canlef. He's the legend for the Matao.
Yeah, he's that guidance figure as well for his team. He has been their stalwart for so long now. Everyone will look to him for that guidance, that leadership, that experience, that wisdom for his team. Again, it's a younger team, so even more now, they need that experience from Canlef. But what a player, and yeah, he's still going strong. So many caps. Nag-UFL din siya, let's remember. So
That's right.
he's coming back to the Philippines as well. Excited to see him play, and let's see what he can do against this Philippines team.
Well, let's get back to the Philippines because the last game of the Philippines in that international window last March was in Tajikistan, against Tajikistan, of course, where that match finished as a draw. Unfortunately, the Philippines was not able to advance or qualify to the Asian Cup. But with these friendlies, the question is, what are the Filipinos preparing for? Let's remember, there's the upcoming ASEAN Hyundai Cup. You also have the
Yeah.
FIFA ASEAN Cup also. So you still see there are the regional tournaments right here, and that is why they're fine-tuning things now. Perfect timing with this international window. Essentially, football all over the world is on break for national teams, and that is why you have the Philippines and Guam squaring off here. Myanmar also, and Guam will be squaring off on Saturday. And next week, that's on Tuesday
Yeah.
to be precise, that is when the Philippines will conclude this Tri-Nations Friendly Series by playing against a familiar club again, a familiar team in Myanmar, an ASEAN
Yeah.
rival. Let's remember, the Philippines and Myanmar are actually in Group B in that Hyundai Cup.
Yeah, they've taken the chance to both join this tournament so they could get familiar with each other. But in general, it's just a chance for these three teams to get more minutes under their belt. You mentioned for Myanmar, for the Philippines, there's that tournament later on in July and August. And then there's that FIFA series, which we'll hear more about soon. So there's a lot of games to be played over the next 12 months. You even count the start or restart of the FIFA qualifying campaign because the World Cup is about to happen, of course. So there's a busy period coming up. And that's why these three teams, Guam included, of course, have chosen this window as sort of a reset point to try and get more minutes under their belt. And yeah, we see this a lot around world football. The coaches, when there's no competitive tournament, they still use the windows to try and fine-tune and improve their system because there's always going to be room for improvement in international football, of course.
A lot different, of course, from club football because you have your international windows every few months or so. It's not like you get to train every week, but fitness never a problem with national team players, given what we mentioned, of course. It's just meeting up with their teammates, and that's when it's that matter of being able to learn the system of the respective national team coaches. We did mention again Coach Rosawa of Guam. I mean, yes, it's not only him who has Filipino heritage. There are also a great number of players from Guam who have that, a young squad, and from what I'm seeing, they are actually in tune or have been in touch with their heritage right here, which is great. And we actually have a number of traveling fans coming on from Guam to cheer their team on. So we have the crowd in the Rizal Memorial Stadium. The numbers are definitely in. The stage is set, I'd like to think.
Yeah, you know, the occasion is getting closer and closer, the homecoming of the Philippines. For Guam, it's a big occasion as well. They're playing against a higher ranked team. Can they step up to the occasion and maybe even spoil the party? That's the motivation for Guam. But for the Philippines, very clear. They want to enjoy this home court advantage, especially in the capital, in Manila. They haven't enjoyed this particular home court advantage since 17 months ago in that ASEAN tournament. And all the fans will remember very fondly what happened here last time the Philippines played here. But looking forward to tonight, big occasion for both teams. And yeah, I'm expecting a good match because it is going to be a good chance for either side, for all the players on the pitch to show exactly what makes them worthy of a national team call-up, especially for those who have something to prove.
But with you talking about that, let's recall that previous matchup between the Philippines and Guam. It was actually 5 years ago. So that was the rescheduled World Cup qualifier that we were mentioning. It was played on neutral territory. But over in 2019, the Philippines did travel to Guam to play that away fixture. So history is definitely on the side right here of the Philippines, but never count out Guam. And that is why this is all to play for right here. Teams are currently warming up now. Let's see. Both sides will be able to fare. As much as rainy season has kicked in, there is also, or the weather is still humid right here.
Yeah, it might affect some of the players, but again, they're used to this type of climate. Again, it's the end of the season for club football for most of these players. So there could be some tired legs out there, but I don't expect that to stop them once the kickoff whistle goes. Again, Clara, you mentioned it. These two teams have a lot of history with each other. The Philippines will want to keep that record going in terms of winning against Guam. Well, for Guam, they want to break that record, break that streak I believe Guam have only scored 1 goal against the Philippines in all their meetings, while the Philippines have scored 11. But that could change tonight if Guam are up for it, and it's a chance for them also to show that they are a footballing minnow. But can they change that perspective of them? We heard from Coach Ross Awa earlier. It's a young team, it's a young coach as well, but he's up for it. Even though some of them have heritage, himself, they're up for this game. They want to represent Guam to the best level. And yeah, this is a good platform for them to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, the sport has really been growing in Guam, as we are aware also. That's why they are also looking to play these high-level friendlies right here. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity for these two teams to just fine-tune their respective systems, as we've mentioned. And let's see, all to play for. And we are looking forward to not just this game, but the 2 other game days after this one. But that does it right here for Pitch Talk Philippines. We are closing in on our pre-match ceremonies between our 2 teams who are competing today. We have the Philippine men's national football team and Guam, the Matao as they are called. You are joining us on the Philippine Football Federation's Facebook page, and continue to stay with us.
This competition is going to be very important for us. You know, coming off from the FIFA series, we've ended off with a 6-0 win against American Samoa. So definitely, we're looking to build off of what we need to do in terms of the preparations for next year as well. So coming off with this one, bringing the other players as well, but also working with the generational players that I have, is to give them the opportunities for our future competitions. Also a Philippine citizen myself, as a dual citizen. I think you know, playing against my country as well is I think for this one it's all the best to the Philippines, but at this time I have a task at hand, and being as the Guam men's national head coach, our team is here to compete. And for our players as well, I think for them it's great to be in the country of their heritage as well. But I think you know, for us it's important that we represent Guam the best we can. Yeah, I truly appreciate each and everybody that's always been continuing to support our men's national team, but also for those that have traveled here to the Philippines to come and support us. For those that are tuning in as well, for family members or whatnot, I just want to say maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa suporta para sa Guam national team. But also for those in Guam, thank you guys again for the continued support for everyone. Thank you.
We're very happy to play again here in Rizal after 1 year and a half, so it's a long time. We hope that a lot of supporters come here to help us. And yes, it's a good opportunity for us. We have the Hyundai Cup next month, and we know that we cannot take all the players that have been doing all the process during the AFC Cup qualification because it's not FIFA window, so some players are not going to have the permission of the club. So it's a great opportunity to see new faces and to see some players that were with us a long time ago, but not in the last month. So I think it's going to be a very profitable week for us to play these two games. Now we only have been making 3 trainings, you know, because it's the starting of the window. But I think that against Myanmar, we are going to have 4 more trainings. So yes, I think that we can see some ideas in the pitch. Well, we have seen the last match against Puerto Rico, and they lost, but at the halftime it was 0-0. I mean, all the teams now, they have good training, they have good coaches, they have a structure, you know, a tactic, so it's difficult to beat any team now in the world. Thank you, thank you.
gentlemen, let us all welcome the teams of the Philippines and Guam. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite everyone to please stand up for the singing of the national anthem of Guam. And now, we invite everyone to remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Good evening, Philippines. We are bringing you the Tri-Nation Friendlies, and we are starting off with the Philippines and Guam. But before we get moving, let's get to our referees. Bumikar Songkran of Thailand is our referee, and he is joined by Chuchuen Tanate of Thailand and Ahmad Shafiq of Malaysia. Mohammed Nawal of Malaysia is our board official, while Roberto Hernandez of the Philippines is our referee assessor, and your match commissioner is Samantha Nieras. Glad to have you with us. This is Taro Manzano alongside Diego Cordero, and the numbers continue to come in at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. This is the return of the Philippine men's national team to the capital.
Huge occasion, and the crowd have turned up for the occasion. First game here in 17 months, and yeah, big night for the Philippines.
And we take a look at the starting 11. Other than Jason Conliff, their leader in appearances and goals all time, mind you, you have Josiah Jones, the 19-year-old, to man the posts.
Well, Jason Cunliffe, what a veteran figure he is, and he will for sure be leading this Guam team tonight. Young Guam team, but they will look to him for all of the experience and wisdom that he holds.
And you have Daisuke Sato. He did make his return by getting called up to the Philippines in that Asian Cup qualifier versus Tajikistan. But this is his first appearance after being reactivated, you could say, or getting called up once more. He gets to captain the squad back at home in his 58th appearance for the country. One of the most capped players in national team history, mind you.
He's taken the burden of being a captain for a national team just a few days after missing out on a league title. That's not easy to do for any football player, but kudos to Daisuke Sato for taking the mantle and being the leader for the Philippines tonight.
As expected, you have the Ultras Filipinas to cheer on the Philippines, who will be in white this fine evening. The Guam or the Matao, as they are called, will be in maroon and dark blue. This match is kicked off. We are underway thanks to Ethan Sablan. And a hard foul from the get-go. Incidental contact. Harvey Gayoso sending his apologies here.
It's accidental. Gayoso, all he wanted to do was press really intensely from the get-go. Collides with an opposition member who looks fine. Here it is. Clear foul. But nothing more than that. I think that's just Gayoso wanting to have a strong start to this game. Could still do so, but didn't time it to perfection there.
That's not how Jason Castro of Guam planned out his start to this game right here. Here's Jones to drive it forward. And yes, there's always the changing of the guard and the evolution of any national team. The last time these two teams squared off was in 2021. Before that, in 2019, as part of the 2022 FIFA Qatar World Cup qualifiers. Both teams were unable to advance. It's a chance now forward, and the test is no good from Jason Castro, but he launched that one. He appears to be okay. Not a problem for Quincy Camarade in goal.
Guam have started well in this match. Early possession in the Philippines half, and they've tested a long shot. Didn't go on target, but it's a good start actually from the visiting team. They need to be compact, and they need to make use of the possession they get when they go forward.
Here's Santi Rublico. He's a returnee, you could say. He was not called up also in that last window, but that is starting to show the depth of this Philippine squad.
Yeah, that position, right back in particular, the Philippines team has a lot of promising young talents in that specific position. Chance for Rublico to stake his claim as that starting right back this evening, but it's very tough given the competition ahead of him.
There's Pacholo Bugas, not on the same page as Sandro Reyes. The two homegrown players not able to work that out.
Two of the homegrown players of the Philippines who are playing in Europe, very high levels in their career at the moment. Cholo Bugas in particular, first division of Croatia. It's a very impressive area of the world to play football.
Just when he thought Rublico was going to break free, that ball goes past the touchline. The other homegrown players in the starting 11 are Jaime Rosquillo and Harvey Gayoso. Don't you forget, there's also Cole Mroka, who is getting his start in his debut. It's a special moment for Mroka and Jaime Rosquillo. Off of Sato. It's that opportunity for Mroka to drive the traffic, gets it to their veteran. Here's Jeff Tabinas. Jeff Tabinas and Sandro Reyes are actually the top scorers in this roster. When it comes to international goals, they have 5 each. Joran Christensen is the Philippines' highest active goal scorer. He is not in this roster, of course. Coach Carlos emphasized that they are trying out new names and faces. They get to break through on the left. Here's Sato. He'll send it with his left. Gets to connect on the other side. Bugas, but it is to no avail.
Rokas impressed me very early on. He makes a really good incisive pass to Sato, who's making an overlap, untracked by the opposite winger, and Sato's cross is a bit overhit, but it reaches Bugas, and I think Bugas will want that back. Could have done better with this. It's a good inroad early on for the Philippines down the left-hand side, and don't be surprised if they use their flanks a lot this evening.
And there's been plenty of waiting and anticipation for Cole Mroka to suit up for the Philippines, and this is that moment. Mroka does play for Columbus Crew in the MLS, that is in the United States. He's Filipino-American. His mother is Filipino. Other than that, he gets his Polish roots from his father. Yes, only to get involved.
Very impressive.
Very young player, of course. Plenty in store for Mroka and all of the newcomers. Quite a statement from Coach Carlos, starting with Rosquillo also, whom we mentioned. He does play for Cebu FC in the local league here in the Philippines. Here's Reyes. Had a man on him. Wide to Bugas. Intercepted here by Conliffe, the skipper. There's a sliding tackle. It gets to go for Oskari Kekkonen. They have numbers inside. Here's a shot. And there you go. It is turned in. It's a debut goal for Mroka. 6 minutes in. It is a start that you dream of.
When I said a few minutes ago, very impressed with his start to this game. And he arrives in the right place and in the right time. The finish is a bobbling and bouncing finish, but it finds the back of the net. You won't care how you get that first goal.
For
What an occasion.
the Philippines!
Yes, stepping up to that occasion. The perfect
By
debut
player number
so far.
17,
And it's only 6 minutes in. Here's the replay. The clearance is decent, but it bounces straight to a white shirt. There's nothing Josiah Jones could do about that. I think the concern for Guam will be how easily Mroka got that shot off, because there was no one near him. The closest player to him couldn't make the block, and that's a nightmare start for Guam, who started the first minute or two of this game well. But all of a sudden, all that hard work has been undone with that finish. What a finish it was, Claro.
There was the first ball. Scott Woods was there to cause trouble. The Guam defense was able to get the stop, but only say it is half cleared. Hence, Mroka got the bounce. 1-0.
To give credit to Scott Woods as well. Generated the cross that caused all the chaos in the Guam penalty area.
Here's a long ball over the top. But the flag is raised for Ethan Sablan.
Castillo and Jeff Tabinas doing well there to step up, play their opposite attackers offside. The assistant referee calling it this time around.
This is the 4th senior international appearance of Quincy Cameron. Those appearances of Quincy did come again in the ASEAN Men's Championship. Talk about the way Cameron stepped up again. It wasn't that start he really imagined, because he had to fill in for Chip Gator, who was injured in the last game of the group stage versus Indonesia. Who is he getting to start at the end of the week? He also played in the 2 semi-final games of the Philippines versus Thailand.
Very competitive, trying to be the #1 Philippine goalkeeper. Very tough spot to get. Camarad has a chance to make a statement tonight. See how he adapts to this situation. Only 2 goalkeepers in the matchday squad, so Camarad, it's a good chance for him to stake a claim on that #1 spot.
It's definitely that locker room presence with Patrick Tato being on the bench. It's intercepted by Gayoso. Too close for comfort if you are the Matao. Cholo Bugas. Walter Reyes is slightly overhit, but they did not really have the ideal angle.
Good pressing off the ball from Gayoso. Plays his football in Thailand in Bangkok FC. And he's working really hard when he doesn't have the ball. That's what you love to see from a forward. They're also helping out defensively.
Here's Cholo Bugas, knocked it back. Kekon gets it to Roblico. No surprise, you have a great number of players here who once played together for the U23 squad of the country. Santos inverted, playing a bit narrow. Mroka. They also couldn't get the connection. It's into the gloves of Jones.
Just too far this time around for Moroka to latch on the end off, but every time he gets the ball, you can sense there's a different class of creativity and imagination in his boots. Again, he developed at a very high level of football in the MLS, or in that region, and only 20 years old, that's a very young age to already be a high-level player.
The MLS, of course, is the local league of the United States, as this is off the head of Levy Berg. 18 years of age. This Matao side is just decorated with a great number of young players. Plenty of them did suit up in the 2026 FIFA series in Puerto Rico. So while the Philippines were actually playing with Tajikistan, Guam did travel to Puerto Rico. They lost the semifinal versus the hosts, 6-0. As this long ball is unable to connect with Gayoso because it is offside.
Guam are coming off a high in that last result in the FIFA series, as you mentioned. This offside, though, they also slightly hurt his run, but good as well from center backs holding their line up high. They know Gayoso wants to run in behind. Gayoso, better timing, and he'd be in one-on-one. There's space to run into for Gayoso, and that's one of his best attributes. He's a very, very quick forward.
Played forward by the keeper, Cunliffe. See him more in that midfield role now with his experience. Here's Bugas to accelerate. Rounded his man. Will this lead to a goal? It's essentially a corner kick. That's as close as it gets. Quite the energy from Bugas early on, and you like that.
Yeah, you can really see he knows one of his best attributes is his pace, and when it becomes a foot race against a defender, Cholo Bugas will always back themselves, or himself rather. He is rapid when he can get up to his full sprint speed, and he did well to win this corner kick. Again, Philippines are strong from set pieces as well, so this could be a good chance for the Philippines.
They are crowding the 6-yard area as we speak. Played it short. Reyes eventually sends in an outswinger. Sato tried to go for it. The keeper punched it. Got into a collision. This is going to go to the way of the Guamanians.
I think Sato was just the judge to have committed the high boot, going for that volley. Set piece routine there from the Philippines. Not surprised. Carles Cuadrat, the head coach of the Philippines, is a little bit of a set piece specialist. It's on his CV. There's a foul here. The Philippines, don't be surprised if corners and free kicks are one of the avenues they try to score their goals from this evening.
Just to wrap up with what we were mentioning, the 2026 FIFA series in Puerto Rico for Guam. It did end on a high note with a massive victory over American Samoa in the battle for third. It was Berg who came away with a brace there. Etagui also came away with a goal along with Ochoa and Gomez. And they also did force an own goal from American Samoa.
see Guam's game plan was to sit deep, soak up pressure, and hit on the counterattack, but the early goal not helping their case at all.
Flag is down here for Bugas. Can't get past the defender. And it's a save from Jones.
This time, Bugas stays onside. The offside trap of Guam is beaten. It's a very good pass to find Bugas, and he does really well, but by the time he was generating a shot, it was just a little bit off balance, and it allowed the goalkeeper just to smother that up.
Just to correct myself, that is a 4-0 loss by Guam to Puerto Rico in the semifinal. They bounced back with a 6-0 result over American Samoa. Bugas continuing to bring in the high-octane energy. Here's Sato getting it back to Scott Woods. Lovely connection in the left. There's the fake. Trying to get past McKenna. They send it. It's off a defender. Philippines asking for a handball in the box. They're able to get this out. It all started with that Taitagui ball. They're trying to test Camera. They saw him off his line. There's that sigh of relief for Quincy.
It's going to be a corner kick because it was a pass back from Tabinas that went wayward.
That was the
Sato.
handball under dispute.
Sato was the one asking for a handball, but didn't look at it there. But Sato is really eager to get forward as well from left back. It's an attacking-minded fullback, as we know. He's doing a lot of overlapping actions down that left-hand side. This time around, his first set piece defensively for the Philippines to be tested. Let's see what Guam can do from here.
Philippines did have a corner, and now it is Guam who will look to bounce. They are ranked number 201 in the world. Philippines at 136. That's all on paper, as we know.
Kyle Halehale on the end of that corner kick, but he was right away from goal, and really impossible to generate goalward header from that angle. So Philippines escape their first set piece test, and if you look at the height advantage, quite even actually. So set pieces could be a decisive factor both offensively and defensively for both teams.
And oftentimes you'll see the Philippines match up as a team that is taller in general over opponents. Not in this instance. You also see how Guam have a great number of players who bring in that physical build. Rodrigo able to negotiate that. Jeff Tabinas, Scott Woods, Sato. The switch up play here to Bugas. He's been that release valve as of late. Lovely touch there. Can't get the connection though with Scott Woods. Cunliffe just surrounded in this instance. He'll try to push once more. Roca! Denied once more. He would have loved to double his tally.
He already got the opening goal, but he wants more. Before that shot, switch of play to Cholo Bugas was excellent to break up the Guam defense. Roca so far showing what he's made of, and the Philippines fans are really enjoying the talent that he's showing tonight.
Other Filipinos who have played in the MLS. You did have the likes of Martin Stoible, Michael Baldissimo. We are aware that there is actually a much longer list with that, of course, with that diaspora of the Philippines over in North America.
It's great to see us tap into that region for great talented players. Hopefully it's a trend that continues, and we didn't need any more evidence of that. Roca so far showing why that trend is a good idea for future Filipino players.
These two teams actually did play in a pair of friendlies in 2012 as Morocco splits the defense, gets it to Sato. Cross is intercepted though. That's a great effort from Halehale to get the stop. Morocco will keep the light on here.
You see that grounded grass cutter from Roca, a very impressive passing range so far in these opening 17 minutes.
He's connecting now with Sandro Reyes. Daisuke Sato goes for Gayoso. Drills it in. To say this is a perfect start is an understatement. for the Philippines.
It's the perfect homecoming so far for the Philippines. First game in Rizal for 17 months, and they've established their authority on this match. They've stamped it on over Guam, and Galloso gets another goal for the Philippines. His fifth, if I'm not mistaken. What a goal that was. Didn't get it the first time around with the header. It was actually a good save from Jones, but second time around, he was never going to miss. Good assist, if you could count it as an assist, from Sato, who has been going up and down that left-hand side. No surprise, once again, Roca is involved again. Very dynamic Philippines showing. And at the moment, Guam's game plan is being torn apart. For the Philippines, it's been perfect so far.
A chance created from Daisuke Sato. And it is special for him, of course, as he is wearing the armband. And you have to credit Jones for the stop. But you have to question, where is his defense to clean up? Because Galloso bounced the poacher's goal. Here's Kekkonen. Had some space initially. Was closed out by Ethan Sablan.
I think what Guam might be disappointed at is the fact that both goals came after a clearance or a save or a block, but there was no one there to mop up said clearance, said loose ball, and it was a Filipino with an instinctive finish rather than a Guam defender cleaning up what was a good block or good save. So Guam just need to be a little bit more sharp, aware in their own penalty area.
So that is 5 international goals for Harvey Galloso in 33 appearances for the senior national team. And once more, Reyes couldn't get it to Galloso. Here's Woods. It's been pick your poison of sorts. You deal with Cholo Bugas on the right wing. If you end up on the left, you have to deal with Woods and Sato. If you go through the middle, you have to deal with Roca and Reyes.
Great work from Sato, winning a free kick. That's what you love to see from Sato. He is so aggressive, but you can turn that into a weapon like he did there, winning a free kick. And yeah, back up on his feet, no complaints whatsoever after he received a hard challenge. No wonder he's been given the captain's armband this evening.
So back in June 2012, Guam and the Philippines did play a friendly in Anaad Stadium in Bacolod. Angel Girado bagged the brace, and Carly Demurga also added a goal of his own. Later that year, they squared off here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, the Philippine Football Peace Cup. A certain Patrick Reichelt scored the lone goal of that game. That game winner of his. It's his first international goal. Reichelt is now the team's assistant team manager. He did say his mother was in the grandstand that moment. Here's Scott Woods, a bit of the fake. Galloso skies this one though.
Great movement from Galloso. Goes in front of goal, then checks his run to go backwards. The dummy worked, so he got on the end of this Scott Woods pass, but the finish just unable to test the goalkeeper. Great work from Woods. Playing as the left winger tonight, has played as left back for the Philippines, has also played in midfield for the Philippines. Very versatile player, Scott Woods, making, I believe, is his 14th cap. Plays in coaching in Malaysia, very high level of football. And yeah, he's doing a good job for the Philippines tonight. Everyone in those flanks, in those areas, very dangerous at the moment.
Scott Woods was that spark plug for coach Albert Capellas in the 2024 Racing Men's Championship. Put him in late game situations for some fresh legs, some energy down the wing. Not just get stops, but also get the ball quickly in counters. Here's Cunliffe. It's denied though by Rosquillo. Okay, so Cunliffe had the intention to play this one over to Ethan Sablan.
Well, if you're going to keep Guam quiet tonight, Cunliffe has to be your first suspect, and here he is again.
Sablan once more, gave it out wide. There was the loose touch. That's gotta hurt here for Elijah Ochoa.
Shame for Ochoa. If he got a better touch, he's in a good crossing position, or he could have even taken on his defender one-on-one. It all came from Cunliffe getting involved. He is the player that the Philippines, despite his age, have to keep quiet tonight. Because don't let his age fool you. He is still very experienced. He's back in the Philippines as well after playing here before for club football. It's nice to see that he's still around as well.
Of course, do have a great number of national team players who do play their club football in the Philippines Football League. They just wrapped off local football right here in the Philippines last week. We had Manila Digger bag the title. Going back, or if you look at things in the other perspective, a number of former and current Guam internationals have actually played in the Philippines Football League and also the United Football League, the league that predates current professional league right here in the country. Jason Cunliffe, Jonah Romero, Ian Moriano all played in the UFL. Leon Morimoto, Nathan Sablan are your recent players. Nathan Sablan is on the bench. He was with Minjola. Morimoto once played for Loyola, but he's not in this Guam roster. Paulo Bugas, they like to boast his creativity. Oblico puts the header. The keeper had his number. Play will be halted here because we have Sato who is down from my initial look.
We know what his play style is, and from time to time Sato is on the end of some really heavy tackles.
This is Daisuke Sato, who's in need of assistance.
It's a good chance for Scott Woods. Good cross as well from Oblico getting forward. Again, crossing opportunities for the Philippines have been very productive this evening.
This has become a de facto cooling break with the stoppage for Daisuke Sato. Coach Carlos making some in-game adjustments. No surprise, you have Maniot, team's captain, also giving some words of wisdom. If you could look over at the technical area of Guam, one of their physiotherapists is Wally Javier. He was with the Philippine national team in the 2010s. As we know, physiotherapist Javier, or Wally Javier, is Filipino.
It's a bridge that has been crossed multiple times between players and coaches alike.
Plenty of history between the Philippines and Guam, not just in football, but also over the many, many years. Play will resume. You have Guam in dark blue and maroon. They are playing from right to left. The Matao trail 2-0 because the Philippines did get goals behind Cole Maroka and Harvey Gayoso. Those were 2 goals in the first 17 minutes. Reyes just trying to cause havoc. Castro still with it. A bit of the pushing and shoving. A late challenge from Castro. There's eventually a whistle from referee Dumikat Songkran.
Well, there were 2 tackles that could have been called as a foul. The first one on Rublico and the second one on Bugas. I think those tackles from Guam just born out of frustration. They haven't had much of the ball, couldn't create much. Reyes getting involved as well. Philippines and Rublico in particular doing well there, and it's a clear foul. And I believe the following one was a foul as well, called by the referee.
We did mention earlier in this broadcast that the last game of the Philippine men's national team played here at this very stadium, Rizal Memorial. It's in the 2024 ASEAN Men's Championship. That was a 2-1 win for the Philippines. That marked the first time actually that the men's team defeated powerhouse Thailand. Here's Woods, launch another one. They also tried to go for it. Still not out of the clear here. McKenna only clears this one as far as Kekkonen. It looks like I spoke too soon because there's a Choa to clean up. And he draws a foul.
Duty foul from Scott Woods. Knew that Guam had...
Hold on, there's Jason Cunliffe. Not happy with Oskari Kekkonen. Cunliffe giving a shove here at Kekkonen. I'm a bit surprised that it's their 42-year-old captain who has to be contained. You expect him to be calming down his much younger teammates.
Something must have happened for him to be that angry. I'm not too sure what.
Definitely
Feel exchanging words.
something from a previous play. Well, they are matched up after all in central midfield.
It's getting a little bit feisty as well in those midfield battles. The fouls that have been called. Both teams could do with just calming down a little bit. Last thing you want is in a friendly to lose a man.
The flag is raised from our assistant referee on the other side. That is why play is eventually halted.
Took a while for the referee to see the raised flag, but again, it's a result. Looked like an offside. Again, the two defenders in the middle for the Philippines, Tabinas and Rostillo, have done well so far. Also holding that high line very up the pitch, calling their opposite attackers offside.
Reyes goes wide. It's the deck. That's the whistle.
Clear foul from Hale Hale on Reyes. He concedes it. The guilty look, but Reyes doing really well to position himself between the man and the ball. So he draws that challenge in, makes a good run in the channel as well. Yeah, it's a clear foul. It's going to be a good set-piece opportunity for the Philippines. They're going to send forward their center backs and see what they can do from this scenario.
And you have the likes of Hale Hale, who did play against the Philippines in 2021. On that roster of the Filipinos, you have the likes of Manny Ott. Roughly at the half-hour mark already. And it is still 2-0 thanks to the opener of Roca. And the second goal was courtesy of Harvey Gayoso.
Guam have just tightened up a little bit. Kept their defense tighter, more compact, more solid. So they stopped the bleeding because it was chance after chance very early on in this game. See what the Philippines do to try and negate a little bit more of this alert Guam team.
In that matchup 5 years ago, to add to the likes of Manny Ott, you had Harvey Gayoso, who did get minutes, along with the likes of Jeff Tabinas. Tabinas did start that game at center back. Patrick Reichelt played up front in that fixture. He now has that off-pitch role, as we've mentioned. Not your usual or your not-so-average assistant team manager, as we've mentioned, because Reichelt is still active at club level. He is teammates with Daisuke Sato, with Wantagig. You have Sato as the captain. He's playing left back. That's his natural role. But this is no good because it's offside for Sato.
Again, Sato, very offensive-minded left back. Again, running beyond the last line. This time he didn't time it correctly though, and that's why he's offside. But again, it was Moroka making the pass in the first place. You can see a lot of the trust is being given to that midfielder to create and break down this Guam side with this passing range, with his creativity and vision. And I've been very impressed with his contribution tonight.
This one just cheaply gifted away to Bogas in the midfield. It pinballed around, but it ended up with him. Bogas' brother Paulo does play for Kaya FC Iloilo. So we still have 2 more games in our Tri-Nations friendlies. This is opening day. On June 6, Guam and Myanmar will square off. And we will cap things off on June 9 with the Philippines playing Myanmar. All games are at 7:30 p.m. right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. It's with Harvey Gayoso. Only make them pay. Try to cut it back to Reyes. Scott Woods. He went for it with the lunge. It's with Kekkonen cleaning up. Returned by Moroka.
Well, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record because it was Moroka who made a really good pass to break down the Guam defense. Gayoso staying on side. Couldn't generate a shot, but the pass in behind is on for Gayoso with his pace.
The other team taking part in this Tri-Nation friendly, or this set of Tri-Nation friendlies, is Myanmar, of course, an ASEAN side that we are well familiar with. Guam are part of the East Asia Football Federation. But given that they are also part of the AFC, they do take part in that same World Cup qualifiers format as the Filipinos. Here's Castro. The Guamanians slowing it down to their liking, with plenty of offense going the way of the Pinoys. Here's Gavin Baker. You initially thought that Jeff Tabinas was going to get beaten. Not that time around. They also played it back. They play it to him. Numbers do not favor him. Will he go for it? Shoots, but doesn't score. It's Jones stepping up to the occasion. But they had to deal with expensive wake-up calls earlier, because Gayoso already has a goal in this evening. He made it 2-0 earlier.
He also knew he had no support. That's why he went for the shot. Tight angle. It always favored the goalkeeper. It's a good effort nonetheless from Gayoso. Just a wake-up call for Guam. They had the spell of possession before this, but couldn't make it stick with them. And on the transition, again, Gayoso is very rapid, very pacey. And again, when he gets at full speed, very hard to stop.
Here's Broca to take this. It's an in-swinger. Busquilli on the other side. Let's see how he will deal with this situation. Woods will return it. Both sides will organize. Kekkonen. Back to Scott Woods. Saw the likes of Scott Woods in that penultimate game day of the PFL. He was catching the action with Julius Mirbach. Reyes lobbed it. Woods being too unselfish. Shot taken and it's denied. That was courtesy of Cholo Bugas. The Philippines bombarding Matao. Here's Cholo. The give and go with Roblico. Will he cut back or score? Sent it to the middle. And it is a save right in front of the goal line here.
That's twice in a minute. Josiah Jones has bailed out his defensive frailties of his teammates. Two good saves from him. The first, a volley from Cholo Bugas at point-blank range. Jones did well to divert that away from danger. And this one, I think it was rolling in, and Jones, with a grateful hand, stops that from going in. Goalkeeper of Guam having to do a lot, very busy. Unlike Quincy Camara, who, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't had to make a save yet. Contrasting evening so far from the two goalkeepers, and that's been our reflection on the game so far.
Booted high by Baker. It's a chance. Berg trying to deal with Tabinas. Had no angle. Jeff will try to negotiate. And there was the aggression from Berg, but you really see the veteran wits of Tabinas. Here's Solomon Okereke. He's Nigerian, plays here on the local level.
It's great to see him supporting Filipino football.
That's what the beautiful game, of course, is all about. And Gayoso picks the pocket of Tatigwe. Harvey pushes it. As Woods gets floored. Referee says there's no foul, but gets into a collision with Jones.
Just for the follow-through from Gayoso. He'll pick up a yellow card from it as well, but that was a huge opportunity for Gayoso. Running one-on-one against the goalkeeper. The angle didn't favor him, but you still expect him to generate a goal from that type of scenario. Let off for Guam, who it's 2-0 after 36 minutes, but it could have been more at this point had some things gone more the Philippines' way. Josiah Jones doing well. Took a hit for it as well.
What an effort, though. Tatigwe coming from nowhere. The referee said that was clean from the Guamanian defender, and Gayoso got booked for his collision with Josiah Jones, the 19-year-old keeper of the Macau. Here's PT Wally Javier, who we mentioned earlier. Once worked with the national team of the Philippines. He is Filipino. So it's not just the likes of Gayoso, Bugas going overseas. You also have the likes of P.T. Wally. Eight minutes remaining, plus stoppage time here in the first half. It's still 2-0. Roca did break the ice as Gayoso doubled the lead of the Filipinos. We did mention this earlier, that Jeff Tabinas and Sanjo Reyes have the most international goals in this roster with 5 each. RV Gayoso is now level with them. Bjorn Christensen was the highest active goal scorer of the country when it comes to international football. Was not called up to the squad. Coach Carlos did mention it's that opportunity to test out new players here with the national team. As much as Bjorn is the highest active goal scorer, he trails a long list of legends with Phil Young Husband, Chiefy Kaligdong, Patrick Reichelt, and the legendary Paulino Alcantara. Flip that script or flip the switch. Look at things in the perspective of Guam. You are seeing him play holding midfield. Jason Cunliffe himself. This is his 73rd international appearance. He has 26 international goals. He's the highest capped, and he's the top goal scorer for Guam in their history. Talk about a legend, still active, Rublico. Couldn't make them pay the price.
Good run from Rublico from his right back position, drove in field into an inverted position, tried to make the 1-2 with Gayoso, where nearly did. Here they are again.
Here's Woods. Hit it wide to Mroca. They send it. Went in front of the mouth of the goal, but not turned in.
White shirts flooding the Guam penalty area, trying to stretch themselves to get on the end of this, and the goal was gaping. Any contact from a white shirt would have made it 3-0. It's another warning sign for Guam. Again, great contribution from Roca with his weaker foot, and it's Daisuke Sato, the left back, who was closest to tapping this one in. Again, also very eager to find himself in goal scoring positions. Sato does have a few goals for the Philippines. I think he has 3. Wants to get his 4th tonight.
3 international goals for Daisuke Sato. But his defending mainly does the talking. And they get to break free. When you talk about the Matao, Saplan, Texas Camarad, and the keeper up to the task with that long ball. Fantastic distribution. Saplan getting that shot on target. First one, mind you, for the Matao.
First save from Camarad, does well, gets behind it. Safe hands. Guam could have taken advantage of that. They had a man over for the extra pass, didn't use it. Philippines still keep their clean sheet. Going the other way with the quick counter-attack. I think that's a yellow card as well for Guam. Scott Woods doing well to win that free kick. Just before that, you saw more good contribution from Roca, and it's a clear foul there. Scott Woods from McKenna.
The grandstand at the Rizal Memorial Stadium is packed. We also have a strong presence over at the bleachers, which you can see from our broadcast camera. And because of that collision, Filipinos have an opportunity to send in an early cross. In terms of ceiling, both teams evenly matched. Creativity will be the trick. Off of Tabinas. Couldn't get a clean touch. That wouldn't have count though if Tabinas managed to frame it. Our assistant referee did raise his flag.
Jeff Tabinas has a knack for set-piece goals. 5 already for the national team. He is that aerial target, very strong in the aerial duels, and when the Philippines do get set pieces, he is really the main target for whoever's crossing it in.
Got to see some momentum earlier for the Matao. That is why Tabinas and Rosquillo will look to build up from the back. That's why they have the ball with their defenders and Reyes. You see a great number of players trying to split the defense. They're making runs and also penetrating the back line. It's that off-ball movement that is essential here as you have Tabinas and Rosquillo sorting things out. Sato wide to Woods. You have Gayoso lurking. Here's Reyes. Gets it to Kekkonen. You have Reyes, Kekkonen, Rublico, and Camarad. Just some of the players who are in that same age group for the U23 national team of the Philippines. Quincy Camarad did rack up a great number of appearances at that age level. No surprise that he's been able to make it to the senior ranks. Here's another one. Rublico, keeper off his line. Makes it 3 to the delight of the crowd. 3 goals, 3 different goal scorers. Guam exploited once more on that miscue. And the Philippines, when given an opportunity, the Pinoys will make that count.
So what a time to get your first Philippines goal from Santi Rublico. Ventured forward from his right back position, trying this run to perfection. It's an excellent pass to find him, and once he gets around the goalkeeper, there's only going to be one outcome. Forced onto his weak foot. He did well enough to convert it. No offside this time around. Goalkeeper in no man's land. 3-0 to the Philippines.
There is the long ball over the top from Jeff Tabinas. Rublico got a touch. Second hit, or second touch of the ball. Managed to put it into an open goal. That's gotta hurt here for Guam because they concede right before stoppage time. But the Philippines just establishing
of 2
strong
minutes
presence here
of additional
in front of
time.
the strong home crowd.
Homecoming's been perfect so far for the Philippines. They've given the fans something to cheer about, and it could get better for them.
2 minutes of additional time just to clarify things. Bugas trying to get involved once more. Chested, Roca. Stopped well here by the defense. Taisuke Sato with a duty foul just to delay the transition of the Matao.
It's Roca who stayed down in the Guam penalty area. Tried to create a volley. Try and test Jones once more, make it 4, but the follow through disconnected with him. There's a yellow card. So to Canlif, great confirmation of that.
Already halfway through the allocated 2 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Woods. All players for the Philippines have been clicking on all cylinders. That ball from Reyes was initially stopped from Hali, but Woods wanted to make it 4 with his presence. Strong 45 here for the Pinoys.
Jones doing well there to get first to that loose ball. Scott Woods was lurking. He's actually picked up a yellow card. It's flashed to our screen. Jones, to be fair to him, I know it's 3-0, but has had a couple of really good goalkeeping contributions in this half. If it weren't for him, the scoreline could have been much more different.
There's the pull from Reyes. No whistle from the referee. Sablan hit the deck with him. But our referee for this match, Demikat Songkran of Thailand, says it's on to the halftime break.
Ladies and gentlemen, the halftime
3-0 is the score.
of this match
You
is
have
the Philippines
many
3
goal scorers.
and Guam 0.
You have Rublico and Roca with their debut goals. Harvey Gayoso also finds the back of the net once more in a stadium he is very familiar with. Confirmation that the Philippines lead Guam at the half 3-0. Welcome back to Pitch Talk. And as we speak, the Philippines actually lead Guam 3-0 at the half. It is the Pinoys, of course, in control of this game over the Matao. And we have a number of new goal scorers. You have Harvey Gayoso, of course, who's someone we are familiar with. But your players getting their debut goals, you have the likes of Cole Maroca and Santi Roblico. This is Caro Manzano, and I'm joined by Diego Cordero. And safe to say, Diego, strong performance from the Philippines, but it's not essentially total domination here because you're seeing those moments of danger from the Matao.
Yeah, Guam have gone forward once or twice. One of them, they tested Quincy Cameron with a long shot. The other time, they couldn't make the extra pass or they were caught offside. So they're not completely out of this game offensively, Guam. Don't be surprised entirely if they get a goal to consolate. But at the moment, going forward, it's the Philippines who have been more productive, more clinical, more concise, more incisive, and it's been very impressive, in particular from that midfield. But the forward line of the Philippines as well, very dangerous, very clever with their movements, and it's been a good half from the Philippines overall. Not perfect, could have scored more actually, but also need to tighten up a little bit defensively. But I think Coach Carlos Cuadrat will be pleased for the most part with what he saw.
Who are the players clicking on all cylinders? Just name the entire starting 11 of Coach Carlos Cuadrat, but I am absolutely sure that he is still demanding more because you could still see that a number of things could be fine-tuned in the midfield because you do have the likes of Oscari Kekkonen and Sanjo Reyes facing that stiff opposition, not just from Jason Cunliffe, the veteran of Guam, but also from Jason Castro himself. There's been a number of heated moments. Cunliffe was not happy with Kekkonen also in a particular moment, but remember, 3-0 is the score, but you have to be gutted if you are the Matao because they did concede goal number 3 right before stoppage time. But if you're the Philippines, simple as this, you have to take every single opportunity by the horns, and that's what they've been able to do.
Yeah, the Philippines will be so happy that Guam presented them, as the half was coming to a close, an opportunity to get that third. If they go into halftime at 2-0, Guam obviously still not pleased, but it's not as steep of a 3-0 scoreline. That third goal really knocked the stuffing out of Guam. And Guam will be frustrated. You know, the first 2 goals could have been prevented. Defensive mishaps came to their undoing. And yeah, Guam will rue the fact that in those spells, they weren't able to be sharp and alert. They had spells where they were sharp and alert and even had some possession, but Philippines just took advantage of those spells where Guam weren't at it. And the Philippines, for sure, at the moment, will be happy, but they're smelling blood at the moment. And I'm sure that's the message from Cuadrat and his coaching staff in the second half.
And these are your Tri-Nations friendlies again because we have 2 more game days, don't you forget. On June 6, the Matao, or Guam to be precise, will take on Myanmar, and then we will wrap things up on June 9, where the Philippines will square off with ASEAN neighbors Myanmar. And with this being an international friendly, Diego, it's an opportunity to gain ranking points. So you still add that objective, or you still add that goal for teams to strive for. But coaches also, as we know, are trying out new players, trying out new tactics, and that's certainly something Coach Carlos has been doing as of late.
Yeah, and I think he'll be really happy, especially because he's achieving both at the moment. He's getting the victory. They always want to win a game of football, especially for those rankings that could help out later on in the future. But at the same time, it's some of the newer players or some of the younger players that have impressed so far for the Philippines. In particular, the ones we've already mentioned, Moroka, Rublico, Bugas, young players who have played very, very well in that first half.
And you do have the likes of Jaime Rusquillo getting his first cap. And he does play in the Philippines Football League along with the likes of Daisuke Sato. And mind you also, we do have the Philippines Football League returning to action for the 26-27 season back on the pitch on August 22, 2026. So do join us, of course. You're more than welcome because right after this international window, yes, there are still a number of national team games, but there's also the local games that take place mainly right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Well, let's get to it. Let's dissect the bench of Coach Carlos. Not that we have a crystal ball or anything, but do you have any predictions? Who could possibly come off the bench for some valuable experience on the international level?
Well, I would not be surprised. I don't think you'd be surprised if Nishioka from Manila Digger also makes his first appearance for the Philippines. It's a scoreline that favors the Philippines, so they have that safety, they have that insurance to try a little bit more experimental stuff. And Nishioka has impressed so much. He's a league champion now with Manila Digger. If he plays, I wouldn't be surprised.
You actually have Maniot, who's also on the bench. Who knows if he is going to be that guiding force for the fresh blood who will be injected further as we carry on. But for Guam, if we look at it, of course, what must be going on in that locker room of theirs? Because we just got to dissect things here for Coach Carlos and the Filipinos.
Yeah, well, Guam, they need to stop the bleeding. They've done some things right. They've progressed up the pitch. They've even entered the final third a few times. They haven't tested the goalkeeper of the Philippines, Camarad, much just yet, but they did so with a long shot, they can still fight themselves back into at least a respectable scoreline. I think that's possible for Guam. 3-0 is very tough to recover from, but if they get the next goal, they make things interesting. They already showed that they can venture forward. I'm sure the message from Ross Awa is that they're still in this game, even though the scoreline is not that pleasing for them to look at.
It's not over until it's over, of course, with the upcoming 45 minutes. But with us mentioning Quincy Camarad, he also did get to start the last time the Philippines did play right here at this very venue. Also, the likes of Santi Rublico. I'm not saying it's a full circle moment of sorts, but you just gotta love how the Philippine men's national team is back right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. But don't you forget also, you have Guam and Myanmar who will square off on June 6th, and the Philippines themselves will square off with Myanmar on June 9. So do check out the Philippine Football Federation's Facebook page. But that does it for our halftime edition of Pitch Talk Philippines, and we will catch you in a bit for your second half action.
There was a time I used to look into my father's eyes. In a happy home, I was a king, I had a golden throne. Those days are gone, now the memories on the wall. I hear the songs from the places where I was born. Upon a hill across the blue lake, that's where I had my first heartbreak. I still remember how it all changed. My father said, don't you worry, child. See, heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry, child. There was a time I met a girl of a different kind. We ruled the world. I thought I'd never lose her outside. We were so young. I think I went down the road. I still hear the songs reminding me of the floor.
Here we go. Second half action between the Philippines
Substitutions
and
for the
Guam
Philippines.
now underway.
Player
Both
number
sides
21,
making
Daisuke
a
Sato,
double
is
substitution.
replaced by player number 7, Andre Leipold. And player number 4, Jeff Tominas, is replaced by player number 23, Christian
There you go.
Rontini.
You have the likes of Andre Leipold and Christian
Substitutions for
Rontini. They just
Guam.
came in for
Player
Daisuke
number
Sato
8, Alec
and Jeff
Taitabi,
Tabinas.
is replaced by player number 15, Shantaro
30
Suzuki.
seconds.
And player number 14, Ethan Sablan, is replaced by player number 7, James Gomez.
Castro has been on the receiving end of plenty of hard hits.
Clear foul from Cholo Bugas. Barged in to the back of his defender. Might need some treatment after that as well.
A rough day in the office for Jason Castro. Right when this game was kicked off, actually, he got the short end of the stick in a hard collision with Harvey Gayoso. Now this will be your center back pairing for the Filipinos, with Rontini playing alongside Jaime Rosquillo. This is not good. Guam staff saying that Castro has to be subbed off, and they just utilized 2 substitutions. But on the bright side, because that change was made right out of halftime, a window was not utilized, or an opportunity.
It's a shame for Guam. They're going to burn up one of their sub windows very early on into the second half, and it looks like a nasty injury as well. So we wish Castro all the best, because he's going to need to be stretchered off.
Guam will face Myanmar 3 days from now, mind you. That will be on June 6th. Let's have a look.
Might have been the landing that did it for Castro. It doesn't, you can't really see where the injury is apparent. That's what makes me think it's in the landing, and it's his shoulder that he was holding right away.
And yet Bugas also pushing him when he was clearly way out also. And with that change being made necessary, you have Michael Castañeda, who will enter for Castro. Here's a good look at the strong crowd. And it is a Wednesday night, mind you.
Yeah, the Philippine fans have come in numbers to witness the men's team's first game back in a very long time. That home court advantage so far has paid off. You can feel the atmosphere helping and boosting the players up. Always nice to have home games, especially in the capital, in Manila, in Rizal Memorial Stadium. You know, the stadium that this team have played in so many times, countless times. Wonderful to see them back here.
Both sides just looking to stay warm right here. Play was halted just 30 seconds into the second half. We're catching this coverage on the Facebook page of the Philippine Football Federation. Alongside Diego Cordero, this is Caro Manzano. So for those who just tuned in, play was halted as Jason Castro required medical attention. We wish him a speedy recovery. Unfortunately, he had to be subbed off according to their team physiotherapist. And that change with Michael Castañeda entering was also confirmed. Speedy recovery, of course, to Castro. They have their game 3 days from now. We mentioned the intent again of Coach Carles of giving a great number of players the opportunity to learn his system and gel with the national team. We have Guam. They are testing a new generation of players and giving them that experience. A great number of players are either age 24 or below. 5 minutes into the second 45, and it's a free kick once more for Macau. I love the energy that's being displayed here. It's driven forward by Norton. Camarade was off. Hits the deck hard. It's been a stop and start. Second 45 here as we speak. Might be the head here that is bothering Quincy. You see him holding on also to his nose and face.
Brave goalkeeping from Quincy. Had a lot of bodies jumping up with him. Just an ugly collision, nothing intentional about it. Colliding with Gomez, but we will hope, if you're a Philippines fan especially, that he's okay. Only 2 goalkeepers in the matchday squad. The other one, Beto, instantly set out to warm up. We know that's the protocol for goalkeepers. If another goalkeeper goes down, Quincy Camarade back up on his feet, so looks like he will be fit to continue.
Well, thankfully, Quincy did not hit his head on the pitch as I initially thought. Now it's Rontini to bring it up. Rosquillo. By the Philippines in white, you have Guam in dark blue and maroon.
Quietly as well, Rosquillo's been very shrewd and sharp as one of the 2 center backs, and he's going to be given more minutes.
There's the exchange of touches from the Macau. They get this one wide. They lose the angle but cross it in. Kekunen, his presence did enough as that ball went to Leipold. We have Tabinas again who stepped off along with Sato as Leipold and Rontini entered.
That was a chance for Guam. Ochoa with the cross. I think he had numbers running into the penalty box and he couldn't find them. Went for the reverse cutback instead of flashing it across goal. There's an opening for Guam.
Bugas will accelerate. Got past a handful of players. Would have been too good to be true. He got to blow by everybody, but it's a throw in from deep.
Again, pace and power from Cholo Bugas. He can accelerate so quickly, and that's what makes him such a hard winger to defend against. And it looks like he's going to pull out a long throw as well for the Philippines.
This is something new in the arsenal of Cholo Bugas. Over the course of the national team's renaissance, we've seen long throws from the likes of Carly De Morga, Anton Del Rosario, Jason Sabio, even Stefan Schrock a number of times. This is in the mix. Kekunen only put some height on that ball. Sent to the attacking direction initially by Berg. Rontini tried to play Cayoso. Stopped by McKenna. Hanlif. Rublico unsuccessful. There's a hole in the left, and Norton will push it that way. We got to talk about the Philippines Football League, of course. Let's talk about the League of Guam, which is a feeder in turn for their national team. The G-League, as it is called, does have a number of powerhouses with the likes of Rovers and Guam Shipyard. Cayoso goes for it, but it was way over. You never try, you never know.
I think he spotted the goalkeeper, Jones, just slightly off his line, and he went for the looping volley. There, Jones is just ever so slightly outside of a 6-yard box. Looks like they also went for it. It's going to be 2 subs as well for the Philippines. Looks like 2 midfield subs, and it's a player down as well for the Philippines. It's Scott Wood, so hope he's okay. He'll be fit for that Myanmar game as well, but 2 subs gathering a lot of excitement from the stands. They'll come on momentarily.
We have Kenji Nishoka and John Lucero lining up at the half line. This is going to be the first senior international cap for Kenji Nishoka. Nishoka was born right here in the Philippines. grew up in Japan, just won the championship with Manila Digger in the Philippines Football League. Other than that, Nishoka does hold experience in the AFC club level in the Challenge League. Here's Rosquillo. Not that hard-nosed stop, but couldn't get some distance on that clearance, with Reyes getting fouled though. And now the double change will be executed. Coach Carlos was furious that the change was not implemented earlier because there already was a dead ball.
It's going to be the end of the night for Scott Woods and Cole Roca. Both are going to get, deservedly so, a really good reception to the home crowd. They've been really good in this match, especially Roca. First cap, already a goal to show for it. What a debut from that young man.
There you go, those changes now confirmed. Ugas gets it to Lucero. See, the game is being slowed down a little bit more, and it's in favor of the Philippines. The Pinoys will look to break down this sturdy block of the Guamanians. Here's Leipold. Couldn't quite execute that one. It was telegraphed by Elijah Ochoa. They play it forward. That's Levy Berg who is up front, contained by Rontini. Almost got that one to Ochoa. You did see that Lucero was there to clean up. Reyes to Nishoka. Ugas. Just a bit overhit, I reckon. Somehow, Cholo's able to get it back. Nishoka with his first touch.
That's a dream to see for the Philippines fans. Tishoka and Reyes exchanging passes. Two of our very, very creative young talents, very young as well. And they're exchanging passes. You can see that chemistry, despite only being teammates for just a few days so far, it's already there. Wow, what a joy to see.
You reckon also with the early subs made by Coach Carles, they're looking long-term. And when I say long-term, it is not just the Myanmar game that is 6 days from now. It will take place here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, mind you. But we are going to utilize those days in between to get more sessions together. When you get those sessions together, you're able to build chemistry, you're able to learn the different strategies and tactics as part of the build-up of the Filipinos for the upcoming ASEAN tournaments, as we know. Nishoka. That ball to Bugas is just stopped. Guam will look to push. With Gomez, who is that fresh sub.
The 11 on the team at the moment, or on the field at the moment for the Philippines. Very young. So many players either making their debut or coming from that under-23 team. It's nice to see that they're already all together in the senior level. Let's hope that this is the core for the future.
Sarah will get it back to Quincy Cameron. We are nearing 60-minute mark already. We are just in the young stages of this second half between the Philippines and Guam in our Tri-Nation Friendlies. Quincy got beaten. Open goal! And there you go. The Macau pull one back. Is it a consolation? Is it a lifeline? We'll find out. Credit that one to Levy Berg, the 18-year-old.
Well, instantly, Rosquillo held his hands up in frustration. His pass back to Quincy Camarad didn't have enough power, and it gave Berg a chance to latch onto this loose ball. And Camarad thought he did enough to stop it, but Berg composed enough to slot it into an empty net. Rontini couldn't get back as well. And Rosquillo, following that misplaced pass, has gone down. Looks like he's picked up an injury as well. Not promising, because I was about to say Rosquillo has had a good match very quietly because he's not one of the attacking players, but that moment, one he will want to forget because he's had a good cap so far, good debut so far. might end here and not in a fashion that he wanted. But good goal from Berg and some life now from Guam.
That's the effort and work rate that we talk about. And when Rosquillo hit the turf, you immediately saw Coach Carles signal to Noah Liddell to warm up. Just got about 30 seconds to stretch himself out. Had him sent over to the fourth official stable immediately. So this is going to be the 5th sub that will be used for the Filipinos.
Looks like they're also going to join with another sub, so it's not going to be only Noah Liddell coming on. Seb Rasmussen is being readied up as well. I think they want to making use of this window so that revitalize the team at the moment, because it's Guam with the momentum right now.
You see the attacking intent with them putting on Sebastian Rasmussen in a bit. But we are going to resume play from the center circle again, because Levy Berg got to find the back of the net for the Matao.
With both Rasmussen and Liddell check in, that would make it 6 subs. So I do wonder if, because it's a friendly, they've been permitted to bypass that rule for now.
That's correct. There's that extra flexibility for international friendlies. And from what we saw, we highly doubt that it is a concussion substitution. Game has slowed down a bit here, but when the Philippines was in control, you could really see them push and push when you talk about tempo. So Skari Kekkonen is filling in at center back for the moment from the looks of it. They're just putting up Jaime Rosquillo. Expecting to get sub. Gayoso wants to answer back. And that's exactly what they do. Harvey adds an assist to his goal this evening. Andre Leipold getting his first goal, and it's at home.
And again, this is the occasion to get your first goal for the Philippines. What a team goal it was. 2 passes coming to the undoing of Guam. Bugas, great vision from him to spot the curling run of Gayoso in behind. Time to perfection, stays onside, and Gayoso, he's a striker. If he's unselfish, he makes the assist rather than taking a shot. And Leipold, that's going to be an easy tap-in. He found himself right place, right time. Excellent goal from the Philippines. Coach Carles Quadrat will be so happy with that goal. And that was the last contribution as well from Gayoso. What a contribution it was.
Debates and discussions about Harvey Gayoso's position ended years back. They said he's a striker, he established it. You can see he channeled out the winger in him there. Got that one in. You gotta love that. To be precise. Your last touch before getting subbed on is an assist. Talk about leaving with a bang.
A rotation as well from Carles Quadrat and the coaching staff. I think they also acknowledge everyone can fight for that spot in the Myanmar game. So he wants to give chances to as much players as he can. And also, very quietly, because it was going on during celebrations. First cap for Noah Liddell. Congratulations to that young man as well.
Noah Liddell, as we know, has been playing overseas also. Liddell subbing off Jaime Rosquillo, who was once his teammate at club level. So it's a Liddell-Rontini pairing at the back. Here's Leipold. He'll get them to dance. He wants to go for Rasmussen too. Yeah, Bogas saying on the back post, I'm right here. I'm open.
Confidence flowing through the veins now of this Philippine team. You can see all the attackers and midfielders for that matter. They want to get in on the act. They're confident to take on their defender. That's the confidence you need to see from your attacking players, so that they add that air of unpredictability and sharpness when you're defending them. And at the moment, if there is to be a next goal in this match, at the moment it's the Philippines with the momentum. They're the likelier of the two to get that next goal. Philippines have responded well to going 3-1 because they started the second half on a bad foot, but that Leipold goal gives the Philippines momentum once again.
That goal, of course, from the Matao did give them some momentum. But Leipold and Cayoso just extinguishing those flames in an instant.
Leipold, only 24 years old, again, so young. This is his 6th cap, first goal. Plays at Helmand Sport, that's the 2nd division in Netherlands. Again, very high level of development, and you can see the talent. It's very obvious and evident when you watch him play.
There was also plenty of excitement with the addition of Leipold to the Philippines roster over the last 12 months or so. Similar to Ko Omrauca's anticipation. But this one just overplayed by Guam. Camarade will gladly collect.
Interesting to see that it's Lucero who is playing in that left back position. But he is a natural midfielder, and that's why from time to time he ventures into midfield as well. So you have so many players who are teammates in that under 23 range, plus the quality that are making their debuts tonight.
All part of that pipeline, of course, of getting Filipinos up to speed for the senior men's team. You also see that as of late with the women's team of the Philippines. A number of U19 players did feature in the Women's Asian Cup roster, where the country did manage to win a playoff match to book a seat in the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil.
You always want to have that continuity in the national team setup. You don't want just your senior team and then no pipeline feeding it for the future years. And it's good to see the under 23 and under 19 graduates on the pitch at the moment.
The current edition of the Philippine 19 and under team is actually going to be playing very soon over at Australia. They'll be playing at the ASEAN level. Speaking of ASEAN, we also have Myanmar taking part in this Tri-Nation Friendlies series. So that'll actually be our next game between Myanmar and Guam. We'll give it to Leipold. He's been that dynamic player on the wing. He's inviting Hali Hali to dance. And there's only one option. He can only say yes. Got past two. Pretty much on target there, as much as that was from the wing. Quality here. Rontini, there was the hold. Berg was close to getting it, but Rontini with that hard-nosed slide. But the keeper is down. Jones is hurt. It's that right foot. We have Jacob Toves, who is listed as the backup goalkeeper of the Guamanians. Toves and Jones, both 19 years of age. Promising that they are getting experience. When we talk about playing for his senior national team, Leipold just splitting the defense of Castañeda and Hali Hali. I thought that was one target from the angle that we are at. We can conclude there though. Leipold had the intention of connecting with Sebastian Rasmussen, a dangerous target man, as we know.
Looks like there'll be another sub for the Philippines. Ott coming in for Reyes, and it was actually Reyes who was wearing the armband not too long ago. Picked it up from Daisuke Sato. Now it's back with Ott, and yeah, I think we have that friendly flexibility, Claro. There is an unlimited amount of subs for this game.
Manny Ott again. Who's that bridge
Substitution for the Philippines.
to this new generation of national team players for the Philippines. 69 minutes of action wrapped up for Sandro Reyes, and Manny Ott will get an estimated 25 minutes when you factor in stoppage time. Liddell will knock it back. Camarade will utilize him as that extra man here at the back.
It looks like there'll be only 4 players at the moment who started this game. I won't be surprised if there are more subs even after this point. So a lot of rotation, but it's also giving a fair chance to everyone in the camp.
He'll play this one to Nishoka. Hit the ground hard, won a foul. Voicing his displeasure here though at the referee.
Work from Nishioka. He's been eager to get involved in the phase of play when attacking the final third, and he wins a free kick in a pretty good shooting situation, actually. Nishioka, a lot of fans wanting to see his debut for quite some time, and finally, for his sake, it has come, and you can see he's so eager to get involved as well. He wants to get on the ball. He can do some magical things with the ball. As 20 minutes and change put his stamp on this game.
Andre Leipold will step up to this. He made his debut for the men's national team versus Tajikistan over at New Clark. Shoots off the wall here. It goes out for a corner for the Philippines, who are in white.
Leipold aiming for his second. He waited quite some while for his first goal. There's a chance in this match he gets his second already. Corner, and will be taken by Nishioka. We know he does this from a little digger. It's a very good set-piece delivery. His ball striking capability, very impressive. He's been entrusted by Coach Carlos Cuadrato, the set-piece specialist himself, to be the designated taker for this second half.
Nishioka had to get past the likes of Daisuke Sato, Patrick Reichel, Stefan Schrock, seasoned veterans for the national team. Sato, the last or lone active player from the trio I mentioned. Nishioka got past them in club level, and then he gets his first cap for the national team. He said it's been a dream of his, actually. Here's Quincy Camrad, well off his line. Pretty much had minimal options in that instance. So let's just recap our goal scorers. Paul Mrauka did open the scoring very early on. Harvey also doubled the lead for the Filipinos. Santi Rublico made it 3. And Andre Leipold made it 4 for the Philippines, but that was to cancel out the goal of Levy Bird. Here's Kenji Nishioka. Leipold, will he go for it? Everyone fell for that fake. And it's cleared off here. Guam having to hold on.
Leipold fooling everyone, opened up his body as if to say he's going to curl this one into the far post. And he sold the crowd with that fake shot. Excellent footwork from Leipold. Great close control in such a tight space. Tried to go through 3 or 4 Guam players. Wins a corner at the end. Good work from Leipold.
Time continues to tick, and majority of the changes in this game have been made for the Filipinos. You could say that Coach Carles activated cruise control very early, coming out of the second half. Plenty of members from the Philippine football community in attendance. Ina Palacios, formerly with the women's team. She hung up her gloves. Dov Carino also. He has appearances himself, too, for the country. Here's Rontini. They'll leave one man at the back with Noah Liddell. They try to break down this block of Guam, which is sitting relatively low. Cunliffe, the timely clearance. Elijah Ochoa is down though. This one is put out of play here, of course, given the situation.
Ochoa looks like a little bit of cramp, asking for that stretch from Bugas. He's been very busy this evening. Down his right-hand side, he's had to defend against Sato, Woods, Roca, now Lucero, Cholo, Bugas, Nishioka. That is a very tiring set of players to defend against, and just feeling it a little bit now. Guam, it's been a team that doesn't play as much matches, of course, as the Philippines, and that's why fitness
Ladies and gentlemen,
as high as
the
the
total
Philippines,
crowd
and
attendance for this
coming
match
up now.
is 2,243.
have a
Maraming
strong
salamat po.
2,243 present right here to catch this game in Manila. That is 2243. Joining us on a Wednesday night. What a way to kick off Tri-Nation Friendlies right here. The Philippines will be playing one more game again. That will be against ASEAN rivals Myanmar. They are also in Group B in the ASEAN Hyundai Cup. It just so happens 2 years ago, the Philippines and Myanmar were also in the same group.
Not only that, Claro, the next game was against Laos last time around, and this year around it will be the exact same. Home to Myanmar, then away to Laos. So many players on this pitch right now will be hoping they're part of that trip come July/August. Big tournament for the Philippines. They will want to match, or maybe even better, what they did last time around.
Whether you are seasoned, whether you are fresh to the national team, it's a chance for these players to impress Coach Carles Cuadrat. This is Solomon Okereke, a player for Don Bosco Garelli United in the club level. We know where his allegiance is when it comes to national teams in Asia, we could confidently say. Bugas getting this to Nishoka. Kenji getting past McKenna. There's the last-ditch stop from Nainoa Norton, just coming out from way out.
Big body feint from Kenji Nishioka. Receives this on the half turn and feels the pressure coming, but he just sells the dummy. Would have generated a cross, wins a corner at the end, which he'll take.
Here's Manion. Will he give us a signature goal from outside of the box? People may be surprised that Manion, quote-unquote, only has 4 international goals. Could have been a 5th one there for the Philippines and Rasmussen this evening. And going back, with Manion having 4 international goals. Here's the catch. All of them are iconic, and they're outside of the goalkeeper box.
This was Nishioka. What a cross. It's whipped in with such pace that it's such dangerous delivery for any defender to try and touch because they're afraid of getting it into their own goal. Then it was Rasmussen, couldn't divert it goalwards, but Nishioka is impressing so far.
Substitution for Guam.
If he ends this match without a goal or assist, I still think it was an impressive cameo from Nishioka, and it's nice to finally see him at this level, Claro.
Elijah Ochoa just call it a day in favor of Justin Cruz for the Matao. That's what international friendlies are all about again. Not just gaining FIFA ranking points, but to prepare for upcoming tournaments, but to give experience to younger or new players. Essentially, these are moments where you can make calculated risks, all while trying to go for the win, which you love. Speaking of gaining FIFA ranking points, if you improve your ranking, you get to improve your seed in succeeding tournaments. There's another one, though, that came off the head of Hali Hali. Here's Rubrico. Trying to go for Rasmussen down low. But this is a clearance from the Matao, just sending it to the opposite wing.
10 minutes, or just over 10 minutes left in this game. You feel that Guam are just tiring out a little bit. They're going to have to deal with more defensive set pieces. It's John Lucero, and from what we know, Claro, he has a killer long throw in his locker, and he's going to send this one in.
Add him to the long list that we did mention in the first half. This is an absolute weapon. Off the head of Liddell. Bukas got a touch. We have a signal from our assistant referee. This one being offside. That was after the initial touch, I reckon, also.
It's always a good weapon to have, a long thrower in your team. Can generate chaos in an opposition's penalty box from a very direct manner. So you have Lucero and Cholo Bugas tried doing those earlier tonight. It's a weapon to have.
Don't forget, we still have 2 more games as part of our Tri-Nation Friendlies. Also catch the game between Guam and Myanmar, which will be on June 6th. Doing so, of course, supports local football nonetheless, with this game being played at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Somehow, Leopold's able to clean up. He'll take on Baker, Oblico, Kekkonen, Rontini. You see much confidence. The Filipinos only leaving 1 man at the back. In this instance, it's Noah Liddell. There's Kekkonen to support also on the other side. And Noah just guesses to Cholo Bugas, flipping the switch. Lucero will look to push. We have Maniot overseeing them, of course. And with Guam getting tired out, it's a lot different and a lot more intense when you're playing defensive football as opposed to you have. There's the fake from Pocholo. Ishoka will play it back. Rontini. Noah Liddell. You can see Camrad way out of his goalkeeper's box.
Good pass.
If you negotiate the pressure in your defensive end, there'll be much more space in the attacking third. Leipold, a dangerous ball. Rasmussen couldn't meet it. It was a stretch though to connect, but that had a lot of venom behind it. Quality from Leipold, no surprise.
Rasmussen wants his goal. You can feel it. You can really feel it. He wants that cameo goal. It would be, I believe, his 5th as well. Had a chance a few minutes ago as well. It was Nishioka Strivella that nearly found him. This one, it was Leipold. Great cross as well. I think there's a slight touch from the goalkeeper. That just takes it off the path of Seb Rasmussen. The Philippines are really pressing now for that next goal.
Seb Rasmussen was actually called up in that last window in March, where the Philippines played an Asian Cup qualifier versus Tajikistan. And prior to that, the last call-up of Rasmussen was in the 2024 Kings Cup. Talk about depth right here for the Philippine men's national team.
Exactly that, Claro. You know, Rasmussen, Gayoso, very strong pair of strikers to have for a window. And you add to that, of course, Christensen is in the pool. Didn't get called up this time, but you have those strikers now. Really lethal when they're on it. It's a good pool and good squad selection tool for Coach Carlos Cuadrat.
In international football, it's also about having a very deep squad, of course. Coach Carlos did say again, he is preparing for that stretch. The ASEAN Hyundai Cup. After that, he had the FIFA ASEAN Cup. Also great to see FIFA developing the ASEAN region furthermore.
The thing is about that as well, Cuadrat, I believe he is still undefeated as Philippines coach. Very good record so far. Has great assistants with him. Albert Roca also worked with Barcelona in 2020 and in the 2000s. So he worked with Messi, worked with Ronaldinho and the like. And of course, you have that Spanish influence in the coaching staff. And they are really making their imprint. The game style has been clear tonight. Possession football, fluid, dynamic, and fast. And it's been successful. Let's see what they can do against Myanmar, of course, the higher ranked team compared to Guam. But in this match, in isolation, you can only play who's in front of you. The Philippines have impressed.
Coach Carlos Cuadrat did go up through the FC Barcelona system. He also had significant stints in India. Can Bugas connect? Not this case. That appeared to be an extra bump from Rasmussen.
Rasmussen close to that than the goalkeeper thought. The thing is with Rasmussen, he's so physical. He's built like a tank, but people won't see he's rapid as well. Plays some of his club football as a left back or left winger because he has that pace that doesn't really look like it because of his size and strength, but he has that in his locker, and that's why he's making those runs to try and beat his defenders for pace.
He wears his target man's hat when he's playing here for the Philippines. He did work as that impact sub in the 2022 ASEAN Men's Championship. He did score against Indonesia in that home leg. Gave the Philippines a lifeline. They trailed 2-1. Couldn't get an equalizer though. Leipold got it back to Rontini. That was Liddell who was on the ground, but is back on his feet. Nishoko's making a run for it. Bugas couldn't find him though. Kekkonen. Now we have Leipold narrow. Lucero. Heavy touch from Bugas though. Now Maniot will look to operate.
Quadrat wants an incisive pass through the lines to break down this low block. He wants someone to take the risk because it's safe passes at the moment. I know they're 4-1 up, but Quadrat wants more.
It's also about performance right here. Oftentimes performance is directly connected to the scoreline. So now they're looking for execution. Getting those plays, getting those combinations. This is a challenge of its own. Having to deal with this compact, low block of the Guamanians.
And this is the type of test the Philippines will play against Myanmar, but more in particular against Laos in the next Hyundai Cup. Against Thailand and Malaysia, you expect it to be an even game in terms of possession, but against Myanmar and Laos, the Philippines need to be well drilled. They need to know what to do against a low block. They've done it tonight, 4 goals against a compact team that tried to soak up pressure and defend deep, but it's execution, as you mentioned, Clara, that they're aiming more on.
In that next game of the Philippines versus Myanmar, which is 6 days from now, that's on June 9. Coach Carlos's crew will have to deal with some lively counter-attacking football. But as I've mentioned, this is a different challenge of its own. And we are less than 3 minutes away from additional time. Do continue to stay with us again. Other than the highlights, we will also be joining you over at Pitch Talk Philippines to wrap things up. This is Clara Manzano alongside Diego Cordero. And a big thank you for joining us on the Facebook page of the Philippine Football Federation. We have Guam in their dark blue and maroon, the Matao as they are called, which is the noblemen in their local language, taking on the Philippines, who are in white along with blue trim. Significant number of changes have been made already for Coach Carlos and his team. You have Leipold, Ott, Lucero, Nishoka, Rasmussen, and Rontini have all come off the bench. Your goal scorers, though, you do have Cole Morauca. He started this game, made it 1-0. Harvey Gayoso doubled the lead. That all happened in the first 17 minutes. Santi Roblico made it 3. Levyberg spoiled the clean sheet. 3-1 at that point in the second half. Andre Leipold restored the situation to a 3-goal cushion for the Philippines. In his first touch, is that right?
Might have been, it might have been. Came off the bench and made the instant impact. Not sure if it was first touch, but instant impact nonetheless.
Well, you can make an argument for first few touches. Credit Harvey Gayoso for connecting with Andre Leipold, and that's how we find ourselves at the moment. 4-1 is the score. Cholobugas did return possession to Josiah Jones and Guam. Fair play there, of course, and unwritten. Jones will boot this long to kickstart the offense of Guam, which has been lacking. They have been pushed all the way to the defensive end. There's a nutmeg on that pass back also. Quincy will try to boot it long this time around. Leipold second best to get it. Cruz. And he just thread the needle there. Berg trying to go for another one.
been a tough evening for Berg. I know he has a goal, but other than that goal, he's been very isolated.
There will
From the
be a
rest of the team
minimum
from
of
Guam.
5 minutes of
He
additional
took his goal well.
time.
Fair enough to him.
5 minutes of additional time as confirmed by our court official, Muhammad Nawal. Low cross. They couldn't meet Rasmussen. Hale was up to the task. Mind you also, Berg has scored in 2 straight games. He bagged the brace in that 6-0 victory of Guam over American Samoa. Here's a chance now. Bit of the pull of the shirt. Cruz played this one back. All did enough though to bother Guam's midfield. Here come the Philippines. Pugas isolated. Sends it. Lepo, plenty of space. Takes a touch, dribbles in, shoots with his right and scores once more. There's a goal for the road. Andre Leopold with a brace.
Perfect way to cap off this match in Rizal Memorial Stadium. What a finish from Leopold. Had time, but he was composed enough with it. Took on his defender, went the outside of him, blasted it into the back of the net. The Philippines had a 4-on-3 overload in this counter-attack. They made use of it. This Cholo Bugas with another goal contribution. He's going to play the full game. That is a sign of trust from Quadrat. And you can see why he made that incisive pass to Leopold. Take nothing away from the finish from Leopold. Look at it. Takes on his defender. Beats him. It's actually Cunliffe. Experience in front of Leopold, and Leopold just showing him the outside. What a finish.
It's those tired legs of Cunliffe. He is on the verge of playing the full 90. You can already say he did because we're in stoppage time. Cunliffe has had to keep the strings of this team together emotionally and tactically. He did everything in his might. It wasn't enough for them. 5-1 is the score. There's the concern over fitness here with a great number of players from Guam succumbing to cramps.
Yeah, again, they don't play as many games as the Philippines, so fitness, naturally, if you look at it from that perspective, it will favor the Philippines over Guam. Some cramps, it looks like. Guam might be a bit concerned. Before that Myanmar game on Saturday, they've had a couple players go down, either with injury or with cramp, but players going down before that match will favor Myanmar, who are playing their first game for that match, so they're more rested than Guam. Philippines have the advantage over these two teams because they have the longest break in between their 2 games. Host advantage, you can call it that, of course, but again, for Guam, other than the goal, Ross Awa will be hoping for an uptake in performance against Myanmar.
So again, Guam will be facing Myanmar on June 6th. The last time this stadium was a neutral ground for the international level was in the 2022 AFF Women's Championships. Group A games were played in that very tournament. Bugas. Did he get clipped in this instance? Goal kick is the decision here, from the looks of it.
A few words being exchanged from Gomez and Bugas. You can tell that's out of frustration from Gomez. He knows it's not gone his way this night. Went in very hard on Cholo Bugas, who, to be fair to him, didn't make a fuss, just went up back on his feet. Frustration from Guam, I think it's natural given the scoreline and the trajectory of this game.
They did make it 3-1 at a point in time, as we recall. And that just demoralizes you because right after that, oh, there was the extension here. That is clearly caught. James Gomez on the ground, but he extended his foot, gets up quickly, extended his cleat over at Pocholo Bugas. Tried to give him some words. Players quick to pacify things. Referee had none of it already. Said, let's end this game. Jason Cunliffe looking to have his uncle moment with Bogas. Making himself heard also right in front of the technical area. Santos trying to calm down Cunliffe. Referee Bumikart Songkran had enough of it. Blew the full-time whistle.
Ladies and
Stay with us
gentlemen,
again
the
because we
final
are
score
going to
of
have
this match is the Philippines
post-match
5
interviews.
and
We will
Guam
also
1.
have pitch talk.
Congratulations to the winners of the first day of the 20 Nations Friendlies, brought to you by the
And
Philippine
the
Football
score is
Federation.
Philippines 5,
Your
Guam 1. Andre Lapo led the way with the pace,
Philippines.
while Roblico and Moralca, just like Leopold, also got to bag their maiden senior international goals for the country. Harvey Gayoso added another goal to his growing list. He also got to assist the initial goal of Leopold. And there you go. We'll sign off from this one. It is Philippines 5, Guam 1.
Tough match, but you got a good goal to show for it. What did you think of your own performance tonight?
Overall, it wasn't the result we wanted, but I mean, I'm blessed to have gotten my first goal on my second start for the national team. And I think we just have to focus on the next game and get a good result against Myanmar to finish out the camp.
You're playing a game against a team higher ranked than you, but you had a few good moments to show for it. What is the experience like playing against a good team?
Obviously, it's a great opportunity. We don't get these chances very often. We're a very young squad, and I think it's going to take us some time to adapt. But I think in the future, we'll become a very good team if we just keep going.
What are the signs of encouragement going into that Myanmar game?
I feel like 4 out of the 5 goals they scored weren't necessarily due to their quality. It was more because of our mistakes. But we're just going to focus on our game and the football that we want to play, which is fearless, and hopefully get a good result.
All the best.
Thank you.
Andre, congratulations on your first win and for being the man of the match in your first ever game here, home turf. Now, could you share to us what are your thoughts? Being the player of the match.
Yeah, first of all, I'm very happy also to score my first 2 goals for the national team. So I'm very happy and excited for the next game.
Again, this was a clinical win against one of your closest neighbors. Now, what are your thoughts, or can you walk us through how was your team's execution tonight?
Yeah, it was very good because first of all we have very much new players, so it was a good game for our preparation for the next game. So we need to keep going and win the next game.
Again, congratulations and good luck to your next
Thank
game.
you very much.
Welcome back to Pitch Talk Philippines, and it ends 5-1 for the Philippine men's national team over Guam. Cole Mroka opened up the scoring, but you could say scoring honors mainly went to Andre Leopold because he got to bag a brace of his own, and it was just a masterclass from the Philippines, Diego. But as much as I say masterclass, you have to credit Guam. They got to score a goal, and the Filipinos, the Pinoys, had their work cut out nonetheless.
Yeah, there was a spell in that match where Guam improved their defensive solidity, improved their offensive solidity, got a goal. It was already 3-0 by the time they got their goal, but you have to give them credit. They started the second half better. than the Philippines did because the goal came just as the second half started. But the Philippines were comprehensive enough and complete enough, smart enough to get all 3 points. I say 3 points, it's a friendly, but smart enough to get the win. Good performance. They've given the fans in the capital in Manila something to cheer for, and I think that's the biggest win of the night if you're a supporter of this team.
Both teams definitely utilized that opportunity to give experience to much younger players. Mind you, Guam had a great number of players, 23 and below, in that squad of theirs. But how many players got their first cap, got to bag their first goal? You have the likes of Jaime Rosquillo, Noah Liddell, Colm Roca. Not just the debut or maiden appearance, maiden start, maiden goal, all rolled into one. You also got to see Kenji Nishoka get that long-awaited cap of his, of course. So that's what you want to do. Get experience for players to prepare for upcoming tournaments that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, a young team, young squad, young starting 11, but they repaid the faith given to them by the national team coaching staff, by Coach Carlos Cuadrat and his assistants. But not only that, even though they were so young, a lot of these players are making their first appearance or making their first goal. It was impressive. Impressive to watch. They didn't play like it was either their first game or they had no goals, because you wouldn't see that from the goals that they scored or from the performances they put in. It's promising for Coach Carlos Cuadrat that a lot of the young players he has trusted repay that trust.
And when you look at it also, Guam got a lifeline, made it 3-1, but there was Leipold who just scored in his about first few touches of the game, so that really just doused the flames. That was put away, and then after the Pinoys had to just dissect that low block of Guam, which is really giving them trouble. As we know, that's also a challenge as opposed to playing against a team that will aggressively put the pressure on you.
Yeah, and they took the challenge well, because it's a challenge that they will need to get better at, especially in the future when they play against Myanmar in the Hyundai Cup or Laos in the Hyundai Cup or whatever FIFA qualifying opponent that gets put in front of them that tries to soak up pressure, strangle the game. The Philippines need to get better at these types of wins, but tonight was a good step towards that.
Let's remember, it is a tri-nation friendly again here. So, on June 6th, you do have Guam who will be squaring off with Myanmar, and we also invite you to join us for that very game, which will be played right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. As much as the Philippine men's national team will not be playing, by watching, you're supporting the local football. You're also supporting our neighbors, you could say, in Asia, as we know. You can even learn a thing or two about from some of these seasoned national team players. And then we'll also cap it off on June 9. The Philippines will take on Myanmar, a squad again, and not just Coach Carlos and his crew are familiar with, but a squad that we are familiar with also when you talk about the entire Philippine football community. So there's that window. What's next for the Philippines? Because they have that rest day on June 6th. I reckon they're going to be training a lot just to get the grips on the system of Coach Carlos, and what more? Nothing beats building chemistry. That is a massive intangible in any team sport.
It is, and tonight, that's what they did. They built chemistry against some of these players, haven't even met before this camp, haven't played together before this camp, but you can see the combinations starting to form on the pitch. Some of these young players meeting each other for the first time, already combining in really good exchanges with each other. You know, for example, you saw Nishioka combining with Sandro Reyes, with Cholo Bugas. They just met a few days ago, and they're already playing well together. It's promising to see, and we hope that this trajectory for the Philippines continues.
And Cholo Bugas was definitely a joy to watch. Just upping his game. Talk about individual creativity there. Great development from the young man. And then they saw that game out. Yes, they put in the new guns, but they made sure to put in Maniot. He was that guiding force at the end of the game for the team that saw plenty of youngsters, plenty of newbies, which you like, of course. There's no passing of the torch yet, of course. It's just that matter of getting new players up to speed here for Coach Carlos and the team.
Yeah, and again, we mentioned it during commentating, Claro. It's doing this with an eye towards the future. You want a core team building chemistry together for multiple windows, for multiple years, so that come the next big tournament or the next qualification campaign, for example, you have a team that is together for so long that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, and that's the goal at the end of the day.
That's what it's about. Other than Friendlies getting ranking points to improve your seeding for a draw of any tournament, what more? By simply playing games, you get better. That's your preparation already for the upcoming tournaments. And in this instance, you do have the ASEAN Hyundai Cup, and then you have the FIFA ASEAN Cup also. That will take place. Well, what do you make of it, though? 2,243 people. I said that right. Here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, not just packing the grandstand, the crowd also carried over to the bleachers behind us, over at the other side of the stadium. It's great.
Yeah, it felt like more. To be completely honest, you could feel the home court advantage really paying off. From the first kickoff, you could feel that the crowd was behind the team. It's always a boost and advantage for the home team when the crowd becomes that 12-man. They give the team so much energy, and that's what the crowd did tonight. So kudos to every fan that made their way here on a Wednesday night, a weekday night, and the grandstand was full. So kudos to all the fans that came here.
Now, my next question is, I wonder who will be getting the start in that Myanmar game. I mean, they did distribute the minutes evenly. Changes made at halftime, changes made early in the second half. I mean, yes, there's only one more game remaining in this window, but the team will be getting a lot of training sessions together, so obviously you don't want to tire your boys out because there's still a lot of learnings in terms of the X's and O's of Coach Carles.
Yeah, and he has a headache, but it's a good problem to have because you're having to fit in so many good players and good performances into only 11 next week. Who is he going to choose? We don't know, of course, but he has a lot of choices. That's a good problem to have. You always want a competitive squad of more than 11 rather than just relying on the same 11 week in, week out, so that you can also add a little bit of versatility to your team as well. But overall, just healthy competition is good for any team.
Well, it's always essential, and you can even say standard, to have a very deep pool of national team players. So hopefully, at the end of the day, I'm saying this as much as we're only early into the set of friendlies and the window. And hopefully that pool is just able to get even more competitive with the way it's been able to grow over the years. But if you are Guam, well, what's next? You may be a bit scarred. You're going to have to play against Myanmar, who's fresh. But that's how it works in football, as we know. Kahit mga friendly lang ito.
Yeah, we heard from Berg, the goal scorer. They don't get much opportunities like this. They don't play against teams ranked this high up in successive days. So the Myanmar game's going to be tough. They're going to be tired from today. A few injuries as well. But again, there were spells in this game that Guam showed promise. Berg in particular took his goal well. I think it's a promising game for them when you look at it in moments. And for Myanmar's game against Guam, at least they have that 90 in the tank already. So if you look at it from that perspective, they're sharper than Guam, or than Myanmar rather. But again, they're a little bit more tired than Myanmar. I think that if they get their game plan right, there is something they can do against Myanmar. Make it a tough match, try to strangle and choke the game. I think there's something in that game for Myanmar.
They have that rhythm, you could say, because they got to play a game already. But there you go. That pretty much does it for this edition of Pitch Talk Philippines. It's 5-1 again for the Philippine men's national team over Guam, the Matao, as they are called, which is the noblemen in their language. Your goal scorers once more. You have a brace from Leipold. You have Rublico, Morauka with their debut goals. Am I missing someone? Obviously, there's Harvey Gayoso. That's right, I got 5. Gayoso also got to assist that goal of Leipold. And you got Berg, who actually scored for the second consecutive game for the side of Guam. Now, unfortunately, he eliminated that prospect of a clean sheet. Well, on to the next one. At least Coach Carlos and his team, as we always say, get to see the chinks in the armor and then carry it on to the next game and to the next game. Claro Manzano here alongside Diego Cordero. And a big thank you for tuning in on the Philippine Football Federation's Facebook page. That's where you could also check out the information available for tickets for our remaining games here in our Tri-Nation Friendlies. It's not goodbye, but as we always say, see you at the next game.